Morning everyone from a very wet and windy day here in Hampshire. This morning I want to talk to you about redundancies and making sure that you have a fair redundancy process. This is really important with redundancies. Why? One, because employees who've been with you for more than 2 years can claim unfair dismissal if there's not a fair process. Two, because it's a kind and compassionate thing to do. Thirdly, it's the best way to make sure you have the right people in place to take your business forward. And linked to that, it's also a way of capitalising on one of your most costly investments, which is your employees. So what does a fair process look like? Well, there are several things that make it fair. The basic requirements are consultation. Anyone who might be at risk of being made redundant must have in law the opportunity of at least one individual meeting, and that should be before any final decision is made. The law allows for reasonable consultation, but at least one meeting, preferably, as many as are needed. Employees must also know how long the process is going to take and how people are going to be selected to be made redundant, and what their way of appealing is if they're selected for redundancy. If you have to select between more than one person doing the same job, then you must use objective selection criteria, and they must be transparent so that people could see how the selection has been made. If you have got some vacancies, if you've got any suitable alternative work, then employees who are facing redundancy must be offered those jobs if they meet the basic requirements, of course. But they have to be offered any vacancies that you have that are suitable for them. If you're looking at making more than 20 redundancies, then you have to consult collectively with representatives of the whole workforce, and that collective consultation must happen for at least 30 days before any redundancies are actually made. And it's even harder if you've got looking at more. If you're looking at 100 redundancies, then collective consultation with everybody must be at least 45 days long, and that must start 45 days before any redundancy actually takes place. So those are the bare minimum requirements to make a fair process. Of course, I'm all about kindness and compassion and doing more than the bare minimum, but those are the bare legal minimum. My advice is that you try and make sure that everything you do in regard to redundancy is done fairly to everybody concerned, is kind, is compassionate, and that you think about everybody involved. So not just the people who are being made redundant, although of course they're key, but the managers who have to announce the redundancies to them, and the employees who remain with you after the redundancies. Everybody needs to be thought about. Everybody needs to have their concerns and anxieties addressed. And if you stick to being kind and fair, then you won't go too far wrong. As always, of course, if you want any further advice about redundancy, then talk to an HR professional, or do get in contact with me, and we can talk about how I can help you further. Thanks very much. See you next week. Bye.